tornado coming this way.
On September 1st, 2021, the remnants of Hurricane Ida began to meander into the mid-Atlantic and northeastern regions of the United States. The Storm Prediction Center noted an increased risk for tornadoes as the system moved into the region, as a strengthening low-level jet coupled with an anomalously moist atmosphere and sufficient surface heating began to take shape. The Storm Prediction Center was quick to issue a tornado-driven enhanced risk for severe weather over this region, centered over southern New Jersey. As this atmosphere became primed for severe weather, supercells began to fire across the D.C. metro on the afternoon of September 1st. One of these supercells would produce an EF3, which would strike portions of Maryland's capital city, Annapolis. Two more EF2s would touch down near the communities of Oxford and Upper Dublin Township, Pennsylvania, before one supercell in southern New Jersey would begin to rapidly intensify. This supercell would go on to produce a large wedge tornado, packing winds of up to 150 miles per hour that would tear through portions of Mullica Hill and the southern suburbs of Philadelphia. This is the story of the Mullica Hill tornado, a tornado that will go down in the history books as one of the strongest tornadoes in New Jersey state history, and as one of the craziest weather events in mid-Atlantic history. The tornado first touched down near the town of Harrisonville, New Jersey, around 6:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. As is true for most tornadoes, the twister was relatively weak at touchdown, with only minor tree damage being recorded. The tornado soon began to intensify, however, as it moved northeast, with EF1 damage being recorded in and around the community of Cedar Grove. After destroying numerous trees in the small community, the twister became significant in the Willow Oak subdivision of the town, where several homes suffered substantial damage. Most homes suffered extensive roof and exterior wall damage, but one home was left with only its interior walls remaining upright. This home was the first structure to suffer EF3 damage. After striking a commercial farm at EF2 intensity, the tornado began to intensify again as it entered the town of Mullica Hill, a community of nearly 4,000 people in Gloucester County, New Jersey. The tornado peaked at mid-range EF3 intensity in Mullica Hill, where several multi-story homes experienced extensive damage, and several cars were tossed various distances. One home in this area was completely leveled. Around this point, a PDS, particularly dangerous situation, tornado warning was issued for areas northeast of Mullica Hill, including the southern suburbs of Philadelphia. The tornado soon began to weaken, thankfully, as it continued northeast through relatively rural portions of southern New Jersey. Several barns and silos sustained damage near Montauk Township. The community of Winona lost its fire station, and numerous homes were damaged or destroyed within the town. The tornado soon began to weaken as it passed the town, its path growing narrower and its damage becoming less and less impressive. After causing predominantly minor tree damage in Woodbury Heights and Deptford, the twister finally dissipated at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A unique setup came together to produce the conditions that ultimately produced the Mullica Hill tornado. The SBC illustrated the setup very well in their convective outlook that day. The remnants of TC Ida will move east-northeast from southeast West Virginia across northern Virginia through the afternoon to the southern New England coast overnight. Mid-70s boundary layer dew points are prevalent across eastern Virginia to southern New Jersey to the south of a northward drifting warm front. Here, too, surface temperatures have warmed into the 80s amid scattered to broken cloudiness, which is already supporting a plume of ML Cape from 500 to 1,500 joules per kilogram. Low to mid-level vertical shear will increase into this morning as the remnants of Ida become further absorbed into the deepening long-wave trough emanating south from QC. An initial arc of low-topped showers has developed across parts of north to southeast Virginia, largely ahead of schedule compared to much of the CAM guidance. As large-scale ascent and instability continue to further increase, it seems probable that this arc will eventually deepen into a broken band/cluster, with several embedded supercells that will spread east-northeast towards the Atlantic coast into this evening. The relatively greatest tornado threat should exist along the baroclinic zone from central Maryland into south New Jersey, with several tornadoes and occasional damaging gusts probable. See Mesoscale Discussion 1668 for further near-term discussion.
Low-level static stability and the exact cyclone track will determine the extent of the tornado threat this evening and into tonight across Long Island and the immediate southern New England coast. Otherwise, damaging winds will be possible given the rather strong low to mid-level wind fields. Vertical shear will also be progressively weaker farther to the south of the warm front. Still, it should be adequate given the buoyancy for some threat of an isolated tornado or two into eastern North Carolina, as well as the potential for a few damaging gusts, with scattered storms along and just ahead of the primary wind shift trailing southward from the Ida remnant cyclone. Supercells quickly began to develop across Virginia and Maryland in the early afternoon, with several becoming tornadic, including one that produced a tornado that struck the city of Annapolis, Maryland, that we mentioned earlier. These supercells continued to progress to the north and northeast, with more tornadoes soon touching down in Pennsylvania, before the Mullica Hill cell would get rooted in southern New Jersey. The Mullica Hill supercell would, of course, end up producing the wedge tornado that impacted the city of Mullica Hill and surrounding areas. But it would also go on to produce an EF1 tornado after Mullica Hill had lifted. This tornado triggered a tornado emergency for Trenton, New Jersey and surrounding areas. The system would also go on to cause historic flooding in northern New Jersey and the New York metro area later that night. Ultimately, the Mullica Hill tornado paved a path of destruction 12 miles long and 400 yards wide. The twister injured 2 people, and thankfully nobody was killed. The tornado caused $64 million in damages along its path. The twister was the first F3 or EF3 tornado in New Jersey since 1990, and was only one of 4 such tornadoes ever confirmed in the Garden State. It will not be soon forgotten by those affected by it, nor by us here at Weather and Climatology. We thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like or subscribe if you enjoyed this video or any of our other content. This is the first in a series of new tornado recap episodes that we plan on making over the next few months. We hope that these videos are of much better quality than the ones we made over a year ago. Please leave any comments or suggestions you have for us in the comments section. See you next time.